So, with the anime on break, and there's still more to come from season 1, and because I'm a manga reader, I make this video out of impatience, like a lot. And seeing how Studio Mappa did God of High School, I knew we were in good hands. And the first part of season 1 was actually a pretty good prelude for part 2. We got introduced to the main cast, we saw the power scaling, we got introduced to the system of curse energy and curse techniques and how all that works. We also got a little bit of world building. We understand that there are people out there that's trying to kill Yuji, like the people from the other school, the Kyoto schools, trying to kill Yuji. The anime also did a good job explaining how impactful and how powerful Sukuna really is. But just like the manga, it's kind of paced pretty fast in the sense of like training. I'm a big fan of training. I like to see training. The Greed Island arc was one of my favorite arcs from Hunter x Hunter simply because it was a training arc and we got to see why the main characters were about to be as strong as they're about to be. And they didn't do that much in this show. I mean, I guess the arc with Nanami and Mahito and Yuji, I guess that was a training arc for Yuji, but at the same time, I like to see like the one-on-one training that he had with Gojo. This goes back to the power scaling in a sense where we understand how Jujutsu battles work, and we see everything from the low tier battles and then the high tier battles. And with Yuji being agile as he already is, I mean, he didn't need much training with like agility, but mainly just like the hand to hand and just getting the flow of curse energy, which he's still obviously working on, which is how his divergent fist came to be. So he clearly has more to work on that. He just needed the basics just to get by and be ready for the Goodwill event coming up. I'll be covering the next 2 arcs, which are probably going to be the ones in the second part of the anime, which is the Goodwill event and the Death Pinning arc / the Origin of Obedience arc. But this video right here, I'll just be covering the Goodwill event and what's to come and stuff. I won't go too in depth with the battles, but you'll get the gist of it, especially the manga readers. You already know what's up. So manga readers in the comment section, tell me what your favorite fight is from this arc. Mine is probably obviously the one with Todo and Yuji versus Hanami. So the Kyoto event in a nutshell is basically when both schools, both the Jujutsu high schools come together and they actually basically scrap. They scrap. And traditionally, it's supposed to be a 2-day thing, like one event one day and one event the other day. Like the principal from Kyoto will choose an event for the day, and then the next day the Tokyo principal will choose an event. But it doesn't happen like that this year. Let me explain. So this year's event is the Spirit Bash Race. Basically, the first team to exercise the grade 2 curse that they set in the field wins. But it's like a forest, so they have to find it. As we know, the principal from Kyoto had it with Yuji's his existence, like he does not like Yuji just simply because he's a host of Sukuna. So you know he devised the plan for this event, right? Fucking scrubby old man. He thinks he's so good because he can manipulate sound waves with curse energy, like he's part of the Sound fucking 4. You're not. And his plan to end Yuji was basically to take the grade 2 curse that they initially had for the event and replace it with a semi-grade 1 curse. And it could even be controlled by him and Noritoshi Kamo. Not him. That one. So the whole event was basically to kill Yuji, except for Todo. Todo, he was cool. He just wanted to fight. So the event starts and Todo is just out the gate swinging. He's teeing off on anybody he sees first. He's the first one to rush to the Tokyo team, and actually the Tokyo squad saw that coming and devised a plan called Yuji, fight this nigga plan. So he left Todo to Yuji so that they could find the grade 2 curse and win the event. Little do they know, Kyoto is trying to kill Yuji. So then it's just Yuji and Todo alone. They all left, and then the Kyoto team comes in and tries to jump Yuji while he's alone with Todo. Dead ass, the first part of Yuji's fight with Todo is him getting stomped out and then having a bro moment. Yuji's curse technique. So Kyoto gets there and that's when the jumping commences. I mean, Miwa's slashing at Yuji, Mai's shooting at Yuji, he's outrunning those. Mai tried to use, Yuji reminded me of Bakugo. Remember when Bakugo was getting captured by the villains, right when before All Might fought All for One, and he was trying to escape with his friends so that they can escape, so that All Might could fight at full power. This is what Yuji reminded me of. Like, he was so slick, like he was dodging those bullets, and then Miwa came in with not only like regular slices, like Miwa had her simple domain out, and I think her simple domain works like Nobunaga from Hunter x Hunter, like in a sense where anything like she expands her domain so that anything that reaches inside that domain and her radius gets instantly like intercepted with her blade. And Yuji dodged that too. So I'm like, bruh, what kind of, this is the training I'm talking about. I wanted to see training that got him these reflexes and all the stuff he's doing. I understand just the simple fact that he's working with Gojo. I understand Gojo's the GOAT, but I wanted to see that. He eventually gets heavily outnumbered when Mekamaru and Noritoshi comes with his arrows. So they basically have him circled. And that's when my boy Todo comes in for the save, man. Clap, clap. Spoiler alert. Todo gets Yuji out of there and basically tells his squad to just fuck off basically. So the rest of the Kyoto team trust that Todo will take care of Yuji. So they disperse and then they find their matches with the other Tokyo students. Like I said, I'm not going too in depth with the fights, but here's the lineup. We had a Panda versus Mekamaru, which was pretty good fight. We get to see Panda's arsenal in that he has the brother and sister core, which is the gorilla core, and I forgot the other core, but I don't even think the other core was introduced. Can someone tell me down below if that core was introduced? The core that's not the gorilla one. We also learned a little more about Pain. Mekamaru. I mean, come on, he's basically Pain. I mean, he's Pain except for the fact that he was born this way. I'm not gonna go too in depth with his. Okay, maybe I will. Is heavenly restriction. Basically, he was born with a lot of defects. Like, he can't let the moonlight touch his skin. It feels like his pores is being pricked by needles. He can't feel anything from the waist down. He doesn't have a right arm. All that in exchange for using his curse technique. That's what heavenly restriction is. And he can also exceed the limits of his curse energy. He still lost, but it was a pretty cool fight to see, just to see both of what they have in store. We had Kugisaki versus Momo, the girl with the, she's basically a witch. She's basically a Jujutsu witch. Not in terms of power, but just how she looks. She's always riding a broom and stuff. Kugisaki was actually about to win that fight, and then obviously, manga readers know, came in for the snipe, that bitch. Kugisaki was about to win. They didn't have to do her like that. They did not have to do her like that. Aww. So Mai took down Kugisaki. Next fight we had Maki and Miwa. Oh, I couldn't wait to see Maki fight. I read chapter 0 or volume 0, the story of Akotsu. Like, it was like a 4-chapter thing. Long story short, I always wanted to see Maki animated. I want to see her fights. I want to see just how they portray her martial arts. And to keep it real, she's the closest thing to Toji we got right now. So I'll take any animated sequence from Maki. So Maki comes in with she can't do nothing without her sword. I was actually kind of shocked about that. I thought she would have some type of hand-to-hand ability, because it seems like everybody has some type of hand-to-hand capabilities. Panda had hand-to-hand capabilities. How is this girl so good with a sword, but not nothing else? We had Yuji and Toto going on, but that was just training. I don't even really take that as a fight. I mean, you can. I can't wait for it to be animated. Anyone that reads a manga can't wait for any of this to be animated, but this was just training, so I'm not gonna talk about that. Let me stop. Yes, I am. Yuji is holding his ground against Toto. He got stomped out. Yes. But he's holding his ground now. We had Megumi and Noritoshi going on. Megumi had a Shikigami. Noritoshi had his blood manipulation curse technique, which basically allows him to redirect his arrows. It also allows him to use the red flowing scale, which we saw Choso do, which was a pretty cool reference. To see more than one person that can use the blood manipulation technique also use like the same moves too. But I would call their match a tie, honestly, because not only could they not finish it, and they were holding their own, which was really cool. This is the cool part about this show. I like how they can all hold their own to an extent. Like, no one scrubs in this show. They're all cool characters, and they all have their respect. But I'm getting off topic. Noritoshi and Megumi was a tie. So the squad of cursed spirits from the first half of the anime, like Jogo, I mean, we all know Mahito, they all devised a plan based off information that they got from someone that was giving them information from one of the schools. So the plan consisted of Hanami and other cursed users that they hired for the job to go in and basically distract the sorcerers, while Mahito goes in and goes on a fucking stealing spree. And one of the cursed users put up a curtain so that Gojo couldn't come in. And that's when it's go time. Okay, remember, Hanami is a distraction, but he's a very good distraction. He's still a special grade curse. He demands respect. So Hanami pulls up and he decimated the semi-grade 1 curse spirit. And then he ends up scrapping with Inumaki, I think his name is, Megumi, and Noritoshi. By the way, I'm making an Inumaki sucks video. They couldn't take him down. Hanami takes down Noritoshi, and Inumaki's vocal cord is basically self-implode because he overly uses his ability, and that's why I'm making a video about how much he sucks. So they couldn't beat him, and then Maki comes in, so it's then Megumi and Maki that tries. You know, they were doing okay until they weren't. They get baby shaked, and then my boy Itadori and Toto pull up. My boys. And when I say they jump his ass like my Hito got jumped, you know, it's a pretty good fight. I mean, Yuji uses Black Flash for the first time. We get the Jutsu Shiki reveal from Toto, and we get a little bit of character development from Hanami, actually. I mean, we started off with him being just a curse. I mean, he's still a curse. He's obviously going to be a curse, but what I'm saying is his character was just, I'm doing what I need to do as a curse right now. I'm fighting because of my duties that I have to fulfill as a curse and my plans for the future of us curses. But in this fight, he actually learns to enjoy fighting, and then there's even like a recap with him talking with Mahito about, bruh, just enjoy fighting. We have our impulses and we have free will, but that don't mean that we should negate our impulses. If we want to fight, we should enjoy it. And as much fun as Hanami was having, he had to end it soon. So he ended up, I think he was trying to use his domain expansion. He was He was talking about how all this collected energy he had from the buds that he sprouted or whatever, and he was gonna just let this blast go, but because Todo had his curse and he can just switch places and negate it, he was about to use the technique, and I don't know what that was, but I'm assuming it was a domain expansion, and I don't think they would have won. It was a good fight, they were all holding their own, but if he did that domain expansion, I think only Todo would have been good. Yuji probably would have died, only because not only can Todo boogie woogie, but if you're a manga reader, you would know that Todo has a defense mechanism for domain expansions. As Hanami's trying to end the whole fight with Yuji and Todo, that's when Gojo comes in. I don't know how, but the curtain that was casted to make sure that Gojo didn't come in, it was dispersed or dispelled somehow, and then Gojo got in, and bro, he came in like Neo from the Path of Matrix. Like, have you played the PS2 or it was on Xbox 2, I think, Path of Matrix, the game where you're playing only as Neo, and I think in the second part of the game, or when you're on the second movie, you're just floating above the city and you decide which civilians you save next. That's what Gojo was like. He was just floating around like, so who should I save next? He notices that Yuji got stronger, especially since he was with Todo, and that it made sense that they work well together, but he ends up just going for the cursed user that has a weird fetish for like hanger racks or turning people into hanger racks. That was never explained. I don't care about his character, but at least we should have seen his ability if he's gonna keep talking about hanger racks and stuff. He immobilizes him and they take him in for questioning later, but for now he immobilizes him and then he goes for Hanami. And that boy Gojo was mixing it up on him. I mean, he had Almighty Push and Almighty Pull in one attack. Keep it real, his Hollow Purple is basically Almighty Push and Almighty Pull. But he uses Hollow Purple and just decimates the whole area and half a Hanami, thus ending the whole fiasco going on. But don't forget that was all just a distraction. A good distraction, a fun distraction, an entertaining distraction, but a distraction. So, while all that was going on, Mahito got 6 of Sukuna's fingers and 3 of the Cursed One paintings out of the 9. And all the sorcerers got was just 1 measly cursed user for interrogation, but whatever. So that was this year's Goodwill event. We didn't have 2 days of events, we just had that 1 day. Wait, didn't they play baseball afterwards? Did they play baseball afterwards? Let me know in the comments below if they played baseball afterwards. I don't know at the moment, but I actually think they played baseball. I don't know if that was part of the second event or not. I forgot. It's actually kind of funny. I forgot that they did play baseball, and that might have been the second event for the next day. Why couldn't they have just played baseball the first day? Right, plot. Next video, I'll be going over the death painting arc. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite scene animated will be, with fight, scene, whatever, just any moment in the second half that's to come. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Akotsu!